Today on Herndon Live.
Jack and Mark are going to be talking about a recent plane crash in the Mediterranean later in the show.
Also, we'll be discussing our latest Herndon Live polls. We have 3 great questions for you that are affecting us this week. Those stories and more as Herndon Live gets underway. Hello and good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jack Norcross. Emily Ann is off today. We're following breaking news right now, actually out of Washington, D.C. Mark, you have the latest on that.
Yes. In Washington, D.C. today, there was a shooting that occurred late this afternoon that occurred near the White House. The White House is currently on lockdown. The police, I believe, have killed the man who flashed a weapon near the White House. President Obama was not currently at the White House, and that is all right now.
Right, so we're still learning more information on that case currently, but that is a developing story that we are going to continue to follow updates on as we continue. But also we're following the updates of the mystery of Egypt Air Flight 804. We're going to be providing you with the latest information that we have on this situation that is ongoing just about 180 miles north of Egypt. So let's begin with what the facts that we have now. The facts are is that the plane was supposed to be headed, let's go to the next slide, to Cairo from Charles de Gaulle in Paris. The flight left Paris at 11:09 p.m. Wednesday night, but at 2:29 a.m. Thursday morning, flight disappears off the radar, and we know that 66 passengers and crew were on board. Mark, what is the significance that the fact that this flight left from Paris, France?
The significance that the flight left from Paris and disappeared was the fact that Paris is such a massive global center. Charles de Gaulle is a massive airport that has flights going to practically everywhere on the globe, and the fact that this departed from Paris and that the plane disappeared suggests the possibility that it's not as safe as one would want to think.
Right, correct. So obviously, if we go to the next slide here, let's pull this up full screen. But we have, this is the map of the expected flight route as seen here. And you can see that the airplane was really pretty close. It was just a couple minutes away from entering Egyptian airspace, as well as landing in Cairo, which was the destination of that location. But let's also talk about what else we know at this time. Before plunging quickly into the water, the aircraft made a series of dramatic turns, and investigators right now are trying to figure out why these dramatic turns occurred, and the altitude dropped at a rapid rate. And it seems as though the safety records were maintained, and that it doesn't seem like a sudden technical error could have occurred. Mark?
Yes. It does. Officials have suggested that although they're not dismissing the entire possibility of mechanical failure, it does seem a bit odd that this plane, which has had a almost perfect maintenance record, and you said yourself had 48,000 hours of flying, and also the fact, I don't know if it says it up there, but the pilot, his last communication with, I believe it was Greece.
Yes, correct.
They noted that he was cheerful when he said. Right. When they left, and that was the last anybody heard of it.
Yeah.
They and officials are beginning to point towards the possibility of a suspected terrorist bombing.
Right, and we're going to talk about that in 1 second. But let's talk about the wreckage, because there's been a lot of disputes between what wreckage we know has been found, but also there was a dispute yesterday. So let's put this up, the next slide up on screen. Egyptian officials have claimed yesterday that they thought they had found some wreckage in the Mediterranean, but later they retracted that offer. However, today we're learning that they have found some of the wreckage.
The real time.
Now, Mark, the crucial part of this, really understanding what happened, is finding the black boxes, which I know we've talked about on the show before. Talk about the process and what is going to be extracted from
Well,
that
the black
information.
boxes, each plane has 2 black boxes, and one, I believe, records the audio, other records the flight data. When a plane crashes, it's absolutely vital to the investigation to find each black box to determine, like, something that could have happened in the last moments of the flight, something that mechanical failure or otherwise. It basically says that, and that is why it's whenever there's a plane wreckage, they always say get to those black boxes, and that's why Malaysia, going back to Malaysia Flight 370, that was always a missing puzzle piece that they couldn't get, and that's why
and
it couldn't happen. And that's why that's why the black boxes are always so crucial.
And unfortunately, in that case, it looks like possibly that will, that'll just remain unknown, that case of 370, unless some magical technology appears. But let's talk about what it's looking like now. Many analysts and officials are assuming, like Mark referred to earlier, that this is an act of terrorism. But what was interesting is that in October, 217 people actually died when a Metrojet aircraft was headed from a place in Egypt to St. Petersburg, Russia, blew out of the sky after a bomb was detonated, and ISIS later claimed responsibility for that.
Yes.
Do you think ISIS or another terrorist organization will be coming out within the next couple of days claiming responsibility even before we actually know what happened?
It is most likely that when strong evidence actually leads to a terrorist attack, they or some other terrorist cell might claim responsibility, or in a certain case might even say that they were the ones that inspired it.
Right.
Metrojet, as I can remember, wasn't necessarily, when they figured out it was a bomb, ISIS claimed responsibility almost instantly, but until they found out what had actually happened, nobody was coming out of the woodwork and saying, we did it.
Right. All right. Well, great conversation, Mark. Thank you so much for your discussion and analysis. And next up, we're going to go over to our Haley Casseray. She's going to have the latest for the weather with us. Haley, good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Okay, so right now we saw it was a little bit chilly this morning, but that cleared up by the end of the day by the time buses arrived at Herndon High School. So right now it is 52 degrees Fahrenheit with a light drizzle of rain, and humidity is at a 60%, so it's not too bad. And this weekend, sadly, the rain is going to be coming back. I'm very sad about this, but it's a good thing we saw the sun for a little while. So the high for Saturday is going to be 58 degrees Fahrenheit, 50 degrees low for Saturday, and it matches Sunday, so it's going to be a very rainy weekend, folks. And now on to our 7-day outlook. Okay, so we start out the week with rain, but it gets better. So on Monday, we're gonna see a little bit of rain, but then hopefully on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're gonna see stuff clear up. And then sadly, Friday in the PM, we're gonna see some more storms, but it'll get better, so keep your hopes up.
All right, well, Haley, thank you so much. And I don't know about that. I don't think it's 53 today, Haley. It's 76, Haley. I'm getting 72. I'm getting word right now. So, Haley made the PowerPoint. I see.
Which mistake did I make?
Today's temperature.
Oh, it is 76.
It is 76. I was right.
No, you're wrong. You said 52.
Oh.
So, okay.
Can we go back?
Okay, all right. You can't go back in time.
No, like, can we see the last slide? Because I don't think I messed up.
Oh, jeez. 52.
Yeah,
you
you
said
did.
52.
Oh, I forgot to change that from the last time.
And
but
it's
you
not
see
raining
in the
today.
corner it says 76.
It does say in the corner that it's 76. Okay, well, you
No,
tried.
it is going to rain later today.
Oh, it is? Good.
Later
It's supposed to
today.
rain tomorrow, which
Like,
is
in the
prom, which is
afternoon.
pretty,
Yeah, this
disappointing.
weekend's gonna suck.
All right, yeah. All right, well, we're now going to talk about Thank you. All right. Well, it's good to know.
It is. It's raining on WMZQ. It's raining on prom night.
Right.
No one's gonna have fun. They're just gonna ruin their dresses. Or you can sit at home alone and watch movies.
Or you could do that, I guess. All right.
Just saying.
All right, so we're going to talk about now some gifts.
Yes.
Graduation time is coming up, and it is, it is nice, if you can, to get them a gift. They've accomplished, 12 years of a lot, or 13 years of a lot, and now they're
I
kind
hope it
of
wasn't
moving on.
13 years.
What do you mean? It's 13 years. 12. And
Oh,
then
you mean
kindergarten. I was
Okay,
kindergarten,
I see
yeah.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when going to a graduation party, maybe we should talk about etiquette first.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know?
Because some people just don't know.
Oh, they don't know. No.
Yeah.
This is not a rager, okay? You're not gonna get.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, I've noticed that a lot of graduation parties, people dress up
Yes.
nicely.
It's not. I'm not looking for a suit and tie, but maybe a polo.
Yeah.
Maybe khakis or khaki shorts is appropriate.
Yeah.
But don't look like you just came from the gym or something.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Don't be that person.
So, obviously, something good to do is always say hello and thank your guest or
Yeah.
your host or the person graduating because, I've encountered times that where, there's
The
people who
person
don't.
didn't even know that person came to their party.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because they didn't say hello, which
Yeah.
is a concern,
Yeah.
And even if it's not for a long time, some of these parties can be, hundreds of people. And also another thing that's appropriate is that if you're going to a graduation party with multiple people, you should only feel obligated to get a card or write or get a gift even for the person who you personally know.
Yeah, like if it's a joint party with like 5 people.
Right.
I didn't really get as many joint ones this year, but I
I
know.
think I got maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, but last year I remember there was like one choir party with like 4 people jointly doing it, right? Yeah, so just get it for like the friend that invited you, basically.
Right, invited you, or if it's maybe from maybe if it's from a larger group and half the people, just get the people you know and make sure you don't
Yeah.
forget anybody either. So make sure you view everybody who's hosting the party.
Yeah. Also thank the parents too
Yeah,
at the
that's true.
house. Like if you see them before you leave, thank them. Another big thing is don't overstay your welcome.
Oh, that's bad. Some of these are like kind of open houses, so
Yeah.
you don't. Also, another thing is don't be the first one to show up. You don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to show up at 2:00 because
I would say
unless you have to kind of leave early on the
Yeah.
earlier side, kind of pretty soon,
Yeah.
then show up. But kind of just wait till the party gets a little bit started,
Yeah.
and then you can. I think it's appropriate.
yeah,
to
last year though, I showed up to one party 30 minutes late. I was still the first one there.
show up. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just
so-
saying, like, another good thing is now I, like, ask my friends, hey, do you want to, like, carpool? And so then
You're
you
not
have a
awkward,
friend
right.
going in with
Obviously,
you.
I hope you know the person whose
Yeah.
graduation party you're going to, but if you want to bring somebody so you don't feel guilty being the first person.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's a little helper thing, and if you're not super close with them. Like, so do we want to talk about gifts now?
Sure, yeah, just to wrap up, so what we talk about dress, kind of dress
Yeah.
appropriately, don't feel like you need to come on time, and don't feel like you need to stay the whole time either.
Yeah.
I know some parties that are going on for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's not meant for you for the full
It's
6
for
hours.
you to,
I'm
like,
very sorry, but
go,
it's for you
come,
to kind
leave.
of, stay for an
Yeah.
hour or two, kind of
Because a lot of parties overlap, is what I've
Right,
noticed.
right,
Like,
yeah,
and
so.
yeah, like you can come for the last half or the first half,
Yeah,
not the
exactly.
whole thing.
And maybe unless you're really
Yeah.
close with them or, you're supporting them.
So that's another thing. So gifts. I know just yesterday I got 2 more grad parties.
Oh, invites.
Yeah, so I'm
Wow.
at like almost 8 maybe now.
Yeah,
or
probably around there.
10, something really weird this year. But yeah, so I already ordered my gifts
Oh, you
before
did?
getting those 2. So now I'm reaching the threshold of not wanting to spend any extra money. So the question becomes, what do you get for these people that's cheap, but they still have something just to know that you came and to know that you appreciated 4 years with them or so in high school.
Right.
So one good thing is always a framed picture
Of you two.
Yeah,
or
of
maybe
you
a
two.
group of friends that you're a part of. Yeah.
Like, for people that I'm less close to, I may get them, like, a picture of us in a show together, like, the whole ensemble. Just so it's me not necessarily saying, oh, like, look at me. It's like, oh, remember doing theater, because you probably won't do theater again in your life. Or, just, like, if we went somewhere fun, like,
a memory, you know, just
yeah,
kinda
like,
attach a
if we
memory.
went to, like, Cox Farm, I'd get them a picture of us, like, doing something there, because then that's, like, a fun time.
Right.
For best friends, you didn't like this idea, but I think, like, a little scrapbook, if this is, like, your best friend, okay? Like, I'm not just saying any schmo or whatever. I'm saying, like, your best friend. If you guys have so many memories, just get a little book with pictures in it.
Yeah.
But compliment all these things with a nice card. And then what I did, though, is a nice pen, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about
Yeah.
personalized pens. That's nice.
Or not even personalized, because the personalized are about, like, 25 and up. But you can get nice, like, sterling silver pens, or, like, nice stainless steel pens that are, like, nice. Keyword nice. I'm not just talking about, like, Bic pens. For, like, $15
That's not bad,
and lower,
yeah.
yeah. Because you don't want to do a bunch of gift cards.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing with gift cards. Great idea if you do want to do gift cards, maybe if you don't know them that well, you know, or maybe you don't want to give them a huge amount of money, but you want to
Yeah.
give them something. Great ideas are Bed Bath & Beyond, because I know a lot of teens soon to go to college. They sell a lot of great college stuff. Target is also good, because you can get almost anything at Target before
My
you go.
bedding's from Target.
Yeah, I think I have bedding from Target, because it has a big pink stain on it because I left a highlighter open when I fell asleep studying one
Done
night.
that, yeah.
And I also, those two are good. But also we were thinking about, you know, if they kind of made their decision about what school they're going to maybe a little bit later, maybe also getting them apparel of some sort, especially
Yeah.
if they're going to a Virginia school. There's obviously a lot of apparel at local stores.
I got some cool sunglasses from one of our mutual friends that has their logo of where they're going to school, and they're going to be a lifeguard. So I thought
perfect.
sunglasses.
I think I know this mutual
yeah,
friend.
you know. And so I just was trying to think outside of the box, and it was still pretty cheap because it was just sunglasses. But I think a card can say a lot too.
I definitely think so. Yeah, if money's not a big thing, if you just kind of like, you know, hand make a card, or even if you get one, but if, you know, if there's like a personal touch, maybe like a message or something.
No, I just mean like
or
write
memories.
something that you know that person cares about, or you want them to know that you cared about them. Like,
right. Just like memories, or just a connection, or I think kind of establishing
but like
who you two are as friends.
A coffee mug for that school's cool. I would like that.
Right. T-shirts may be a little bit overrated because
Yeah.
they probably already have one.
Yeah,
Chances are.
and you don't want to offend someone about size either.
Yeah.
T-shirts are a particular
that's
thing.
true. That's true. Sizing's a
Especially
big deal.
for girls. They're just like, some might want the slim fit, some may not.
Some people don't like V-necks, I know.
Yeah, some
They don't
people
like
like
the
it
V-necks, or
baggy,
they like,
some people like it.
You know, regular shirt, you
Yeah.
know, polo, one big polo. That's
Yeah.
obviously.
So, just like, try and think about that person.
Also, if there's obviously something, you know, and don't be afraid to also ask. I think it's appropriate if you ask the person you're
Yeah.
going, like, oh, is there anything that you would like for college, or do you have any graduation gift
Or
ideas?
what are some of your favorite things?
Yeah, just like top, you know, are they a Star Wars fan?
Yeah.
You know, are they...
Do you like Vera Bradley stuff? Because I was saying one year
Yeah.
I asked them and they were like, yeah, I like Vera Bradley. And Vera Bradley makes cheap pencils and pens, so I didn't have to go and like buy her a bag that's expensive.
Right.
Like Hallmark has a lot of good stuff. I know that Hallmark can be overrated, but it has a lot of nice
overpriced,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah. So, like we said, don't be afraid to ask. You know, if you have, you know, physical memories such as a picture, you know, attach that, or there's just a lot of, you know, be creative with it.
You
know?
can jazz up a gift card too with a piece of chocolate.
Yeah, or you can, you know, just kind of use stuff around your house, or, you know, just to
not
put
hand-me-downs.
something together. No, not
Yeah.
underwear. Underwear is off limits.
No,
in
I
South
just
Park,
mean
too.
hand-me-downs in general,
general,
but
yeah.
yeah, just try and keep it fresh.
Right, yeah, fresh and new and different.
Yeah.
So, that's good. All right, well, Allie, thanks for talking with us, and
Yeah.
I know you're going to head over there
Yeah.
right now, over to the to Magic Studio 2,
Yes.
where we're going to talk about some of the latest music. Is that correct? You could just walk
Okay.
across. So, what is
Yes.
going on in the world? Chance the Rapper, he's a new album, and is it gospel? It's talking, I haven't listened to it
Okay,
yet.
so we kind of talked about this earlier.
Right.
It has gospel influences, similarly to Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. That was very jazz influenced. This album is Chance's third album, following up his sophomore album, Acid Rap. Acid Rap, he has his own vocal tone, which you can find on that album, which follows on to this one, which also, I thought that the album artwork for this album looks a lot like Acid Rap, but this one, it takes a less standard rap formula than other rap albums. And he kind of does his own thing, where the first couple tracks are very, like, what you'd expect of a rap album, but the beats and stuff are cool and fresh, and the, like, I don't know how you would say it, but, like, the flow, his flow is great on this album. It also has a lot of features, including the Chicago Children's Choir, T-Pain's on this album, Kanye West is on it, and I didn't really think about this, but two of my friends agreed on this. Haley and Nathan agreed that Kanye kind of sounded like he did on My Dark Fantasies, his album from a while ago, because it was very auto-tuned. But this album, I honestly was talking about it, and I like it better than Lemonade, Beyonce's Lemonade. I think it potentially could be the best rap album of the year if no one comes out with anything better, because I thought it's a solid album. I feel like even if you don't like rap, you could jam to this. And also another thing is it has an explicit rating for like parental advisory, but the themes on this album are like Kendrick's and other rappers, where it's less like sexual and drug based, where he has a lot of songs with actual messages. And again, like the song Blessing has little interludes throughout it that are like gospel, but it's not overwhelming. Like all of it flows together. But it's not a conceptual record. It just has flow with the lyrics. Anyways, on to the next album. James Blake actually came out with a song with Chance the Rapper a few years ago. But James Blake, he is a producer, multi-instrumentalist. This is also his third album, The Color in Anything. And yes, it's how he spells color on the album. No more typos. I just want to point that out, okay? Yeah, so from the cover, it looks kind of rough, and it's like watercolors. It's an electronic album, but following the theme of mini albums we've already seen this year, it's kind of rough. Like, it almost seems like a rough draft, like Life of Pablo did for Kanye, and other artists we've seen this year have almost been doing like demo albums where they're kind of rough. This is kind of rough. James Blake, his beats aren't as fresh as they were before. There's not as many hooks as in his prior albums. And I don't know, I wasn't impressed by this album. So, if you haven't heard of him, this should be the time for you to get on your computer and find his self-titled album. So it's called James Blake by James Blake. It's the best, but that was from 2011. But he also has a lot of good credits on his discography. check the guy out. I wasn't impressed by this though, but it had some nice moments, but conceptually as a whole album, not that great. Anyways, on to the next one. So I said that I was going to pick a random band like each month, each episode for my New Year's resolution, trying to branch out. And this was my new one, Car Seat Headrest. This album's dope. It's a rock album, but it's very pop. The tone of the guitar is kind of pop, like, it kind of has an Against Me feel, and also like Paramore's Brand New Eyes guitar tone, but the vocals are very ominous and distant, and then the lyrics are very storytelling. The album's called Teens of Denial, and that kind of that album title fits what this album's about. I really like the song Vincent, and it has a nice groove for a pop rock album. And I would even say it's a good summer rock album. Captures the teen angst and the heat of the moment. No, okay. Anyways, I'm gonna pass it over to my buddies now that are doing sports. There you go, James and Raleigh, take it away.
All right, thanks,
Thank you,
Allie.
Allie.
Thanks for the music review. So, welcome to Sports Guys with Raleigh and James. James, talk me through what the Nationals are going through, man. We kind of went through a slump. But
Yeah, we're going through a slump, but we're on the rise. Past 2 games against the Mets, we won, and we have the Marlins up next. And that should really, this is the time where we can get out of this slump and go, because the Marlins, hate to say it, but they're not that great. They're rebuilding, in the rebuilding stage. So we got some, rebuild, or we're gonna get out of this slump. I think we are. The
Awesome.
start of the season has helped us a lot.
I agree. There were some off-season trades, I believe, that were pretty notable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Daniel Murphy, who was with the New York Mets. So he went back home to the this past series, and I think they split the game, the series 2-2.
I think they,
Yeah, I
memory
think they
serves,
did.
yes.
So let's move on to basketball. We got the Cavs and the Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals. Cavs lead that series 2-0, but they're going back to Canada. So Stephen A. Smith, it's not over yet. We'll figure it out tomorrow, Saturday, on ESPN. So tune in to watch. And then on the Western side, we got the Warriors and the Thunders, 1-1. Game 3 is on Sunday at 8 o'clock on TNT. I'd recommend watching that. I don't know if Steph is playing. I think he'll play. It is a big game because the Thunder they're a good team. They're better than the other teams that he's played. And, so how about the Caps? How did they lose?
Oh, my heart. Oh, you might as well just drive a stake through it right now.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Well, actually, no. I do believe the Caps played pretty darn well.
The last game, they came back, right?
Yes, they did. And I just, like, for all the nervous fans out there who are like, I've lost all faith in the Capitals, my life is over. I'd like to address the 3 reasons the Caps lost, and many of them aren't the fault of the Capitals of the whole. So the number 1 reason, obviously, is the incredible play of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh Penguins are a powerhouse team. They play hard, they play fast. Coming into the zone on the rush, they're nearly unstoppable. We've seen a lot.
Sidney Crosby.
Yes. No, actually, Sidney Crosby didn't have that much of an impact
No,
that series.
it was more Carl Hagelin, right?
Yeah, it was more the third line, and I'm going to get to that. The number 2 reason was the lack of discipline of one of our most veteran defenders. I'm sorry to say, Brooks Orpik did not come through for us in that series as we hoped he did. He had in Game 2, I believe, he had a high hit, an illegal hit against Oli Mata of the Penguins.
Yeah,
cost him 3 games.
Yeah, that kind of hurt us.
Yes, it hurt us a lot. He had a big presence in the defensive zone, and to be out for 3 games, I think was a little bit of a stretch of a punishment, but it was still very costly. And in Game 6, this was probably the greatest offense. Game 6, you have to come through. You have to tie up the series and bring it back to Washington. However, what he did, he
I believe he slashed Patrick Hornquist up high in the face. That lack of discipline cost him a double minor, 4 minutes in the penalty box, and in those 4 minutes, the Penguins increased their lead from 1-0 to 3-0, which is a pretty darn big hole to dig yourself out of in the playoffs.
But they came back, though. They came
They
back.
did, yes, they did.
I was at the Nats game, and everyone was on their phones looking to see the Caps game, and I was at the stadium. It was 3-0. I was wasn't really
sinking feeling.
And then I heard that it was 3-3, like right there, and it was going into overtime. And I was shocked.
Yeah, that just goes to show the great resilience the Capitals had throughout the whole 2015-16 season. And the final of the three reasons why the Capitals lost the series was just bad bounces, just things you can't handle. Like I believe in Game 4, which the Capitals entered down 2-1 against the Penguins, the overtime winning goal that the Penguins scored in that game, in fact, just bounced right off Mike Weber's stick right to Patrick Hornquist, who was right in front of the net to tip it in to the open net. Nothing could have been done about that. If that bounce didn't happen, it could easily have been a 2-2 series that night. Alas, it didn't. And just real quick, 3 reasons for Capitals fans to be proud of the way they played, especially in that last series. The big players, the big names came through. Like Alexander Ovechkin, he got, I think, through the whole playoffs, 5 goals, 7 assists, and 12 points in 12 games, which is pretty darn good, especially if you're the captain, you're expected to come through like that big time. Off-season trades, also big names that came through in the playoffs. TJ Oshie, Justin Williams. Justin Williams was a big part of the comeback in Game 6. TJ Oshie with the hat trick in Game 1 to win the game in overtime. John Carlson, Nicholas Backstrom, as always, underrated, but coming through whenever we need them. The second reason we should be proud is because of the comeback. Like you mentioned a lot, is the Capitals are down 3-0. Like I've repeatedly said, that they're a third period team. They know how to dig themselves out of holes. They did that swimmingly in Game 6. They just unfortunately couldn't do it in overtime. Which brings me to my third point. There were, I believe, two or three overtime games in that series. It would have been over a lot faster if it wasn't for the defense from, namely, Matt Niskanen and Carl Alsner, and the goaltending from Braden Holtby. Braden Holtby and the trio, the defensive trio, probably the best defensive players maybe in the league. I have to say, I might be a little biased in that decision, but the series could have ended a lot faster if it wasn't for their superior defensive talent. I have to say Braden Holtby's goaltending was superior to Matt Murray's. It's kind of a double negative. The thing the Capitals have to be proud of is that Murray wasn't that good. I do think he's doing well for a goalie who's 21 and in the conference finals, but I don't think he's doing insanely good like a lot of people are making him out to be. It is a high pressure situation and he has to come through.
So I got a joke for you.
Oh,
it just
boy.
came up to my mind. What's red, white, and blue and plays golf in May?
Oh no.
The Capitals.
Oh no. James, why?
Actually, the real joke is what's red, white, and blue and plays golf in April, but we actually made it to May this year.
Yeah, we did. We did make it to May this year.
We made it to May.
I have to say, if we won that Game 6, it went to a Game 7, we would have had the series. I was certain.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we just couldn't do it. Anyway,
Yeah.
not dwelling on the past anymore, getting to the NHL playoffs as they continue now. We like basketball, we are into the conference finals. We have the Penguins versus the Lightning tonight at 8 on NBCSN. This is a very, like I mentioned before, this is incredibly fast-paced. The Penguins' experience that they've had in the playoffs is paying off. The third line, like you mentioned, Carl Hagelin, Phil Kessel, Nick Bonino, they're coming through for them. They've had the most points out of any line in the playoffs so far, I believe. And after Lightning taking the first game, the Penguins have come back to win the next 2. So if they can win tonight in Tampa, it will be a stranglehold, a 3-1 series. And tomorrow, the Blues and the Sharks at 7:15 on NBC. Now, again, these two teams are very physical, very experienced in the playoffs. I have to make a note, though. Logan Couture of the Sharks, he has 20 points, I believe, in about 15, 16 games. He's doing extremely well for someone of his age, about 25. The Blues defensemen are doing the best they can to shut him down, and I think a weight needs to be taken off their shoulders and more offense needs to be generated because they've been shut out in the past 2 games, and that's something you can't afford in the playoffs. So we'll see how that turns out. And now I believe we're going on to Jack and Laja Maridu with health, our disease correspondents. Let's see what you guys have over there.
Thank you. Raleigh and James, thanks for recapping that all for us. Yes, I am here with our disease correspondent, Laja Maridu. They are here with us today, and we'll be talking about lupus today. And so let's get started here. Now, let's continue to the next slide here. So let's first of all, what is the lupus disease? We have to be honest, when I first heard that you're doing this, I didn't know exactly what it is, what it was myself.
It's like an inflammatory disease that causes when your immune system like attacks your own tissues.
So technically, like your immune system is meant to fight infection or disease, right? So like when you're sick or when you have cold, you have your immune system. So like if you have weak immune system, then that's hard for, like if a person has cold, then they're gonna get sick more often because the immune system is weak. But in this disease, what happens is these immune system, it actually develops antibodies, which actually kills its own tissue. So it's against your own body fighting like.
And mostly like women are
That's
diagnosed with this
fascinating.
disease.
90%. Why
Yeah.
is it so much? Is it?
I don't know why, but it's like women, it's not even old women. It's like women from age 15 to 44. So that's
So
the
kinda like
area.
middle age,
Yeah,
you
middle
know,
age.
not-
It's not even
Not
old
super
people
young
or
it's
not super old.
Interesting. All right. Well, fascinating about what the disease is. So, what are the symptoms that someone can experience?
So this
from
is kind of like
lupus?
what majority like
Experience.
experience. Like it's fatigue, unexplained fever, hair loss.
There's also skin rash and lesions, inflammation of pulmonary system, kidney inflammation, and painful and swollen joints, and dry mouth and eyes.
So this kind of symptoms happens in other diseases as well.
Right. So, but if you're experiencing these things, obviously it could,
Yeah.
be connected to other things. But if you experience maybe all
Yeah,
these
I think
things
the
in
main one will
lupus-
be inflammation for lupus because it's
Yeah.
the inflammatory disease.
What about? I've heard about the skin rash. Is that why some people have red faces? I was
I mean,
reading.
They have it like across their
do.
cheeks and like across
Yeah.
their chest.
Okay.
Yeah,
all over
rashes.
rash. So that's one of the side effects, like not side effect, but like telling you
symptoms,
symptoms, like initiating symptom of it.
Interesting. All right. Well, next we have the. Okay, so
So
this
pictures.
is All right. So yeah. So we're talking about
Yeah,
kinda
that
how
kind of rash.
that all happens.
Also, like
but-
it affects your whole body. Like
So
we
it's
can
not only
see.
one thing. That
Like
it
skin,
affects.
eyes, like everything.
Right. So it looks like. So these are kind of unique body parts of the woman.
Yeah.
So and is that so miscarriages and okay, interesting.
Yeah, it affects like your whole body.
So there's vomiting, diarrhea, and that's just for like your stomach, and then there's the heart and lungs.
Basically, like all your main organs.
Now, is there any difference in the actual symptoms of the disease varying from men and women?
Probably this is actually goes to the cure. Like it's really hard to cure this disease because what's going in your body will not be going in mine. Like it's not gonna match. You know, like how if you have a cold and if I have a cold, we can treat it with the same medicine.
Right.
But here, like it's just like cancer. There's
Kinda
just so many
unique
different.
kind of
yeah.
variations
not
of
like-
the disease.
So there's
Exact
like
cure.
so you
Okay.
can't really find exact
Interesting.
cure.
All right, and the next slide here we have is the cure,
Cure.
and you were kind of touching
Yes.
on this earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's medications like anti-inflammatory and like steroids.
Now, is this kind of a one-time thing, or would this be a medication that
Probably
you take
medication
on a
that
regular
you take
basis?
regular.
And you have
yeah.
to prescribe it with your doctors.
Also, there's apparently like weight loss and like weight gain. If you have
That's
one
kind of
the
like
symptoms,
thyroid,
too.
like-
yeah.
So all these symptoms are like mixed together.
So you won't exactly know that you have this because it matches with other diseases.
Right. Okay. Fascinating. All right. And,
I think that's about
I think
it.
that's it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Laja and Ritu, for
welcome.
that. But you're gonna stick with us right now because I think we're gonna just do polls right here because it seems as though we do not know where everyone else is, and I think the TV just died. So, all right. Well, let's take a look at our first poll. We want to get
Okay.
your insight on what is going on here. So. All right, so our first, our Twitter poll this week, we received 201 votes.
Oh.
So
That's a
thank you, great.
I voted for all of them.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it.
Retweeted.
Glad to hear it. All right, so let's take a look at our first poll question here. Has there ever been a school photo that you have liked?
No.
Not
You
really.
know, one thing that was interesting.
Actually, this year wasn't that bad, I
For
guess.
her, mine was really bad. that.
Yeah, but did you take your senior pictures?
No, we haven't. I
The
skipped
reason
it.
you skipped it.
In
The reason that we came up with this because senior pictures are actually coming up.
Yeah, and
One of the
it's
strange
nice.
thing is that like a year early practically
Yeah.
before we'll
Yeah.
actually get our yearbooks.
Did this happen last year too? Did they do it?
I
last
don't
year?
know how it worked last year, but I think the makeup day is in August. I guess
Yeah.
you'll be going then.
I'm going.
Yeah,
Okay.
same.
All right, well, let's take a look at the results from this poll here, and it looks like, and I'll tell you something interesting. Once again, the question is: have there ever been a school picture that you have enjoyed? 55% said yes,
Oh,
which I
wow.
thought was surprising. 45% said no. But what was interesting at first, within the first, there were 65 votes in this poll. I was monitoring it, and it for the first 20 votes, there was,
It was no.
0%
For yes.
So it was
yeah, I
really
kinda-
interesting.
yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
maybe it is worth. I just feel like sometimes school pictures can be awkward.
And they also
you know?
give you
For
the
senior
retake
picture, they're like
thing.
this,
Yeah.
you know, that's weird.
Yeah,
and
like they even tell
this.
you what to do with your feet. And
Like,
I just feel like
they
it's
only take this
unnatural,
much.
You know.
yeah,
Just,
I think it should be natural, but it's really awkward for me.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our next poll question here. What is your favorite social media site out of these choices? Let me guess for you two. I bet you said Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, and
know, because
Snapchat. I
always-
like Instagram and Snapchat.
I
love
always see
Instagram.
Marie
It's
do,
my
you know,
favorite.
Instagram. And, oh, there's the
Shut
rocket
up.
people, the rocket people. Oh, I love you, Instagram, you know. Surprised you didn't tag them, to be honest, you know. Or, you know, just
I love it.
taking pictures. Just curious, why did you choose Instagram?
Instagram because I use it a lot.
What makes it so
I don't know.
much better
It's like you can go anywhere you want. Like you can search up any celebrities you want, or like food. Like if you want to like recipes, then you can go and just because people have accounts for everything, like fan page
than right?
and like everything.
Naja, which one did you choose?
Instagram, same thing.
Same reasons,
Yeah.
I chose Twitter because I just like it because it's instant. You
Twitter-
know, it's
yeah,
short and
that's true.
sweet.
That's
You know,
true.
it gives me the facts. You know.
And like Twitter is great for like news and what's going on.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like, everything.
You know,
I like Twitter.
I think it's kind of instant and a great tool. Well, let's see what the rest of our viewers said. Now, there is a little
Okay.
bit of a bias here because this poll was taken on Twitter. So, let's see. And that is obviously shown in the poll. 42% said Twitter, which I thought was interesting. 3% said Facebook.
Nobody uses Facebook
Why do you
anymore.
think Facebook is fading
I
so
think-
fast? I check it probably once
I
a day
check
at
it.
least.
Yeah, I do check it, but I think like the psychology of people, I don't know. People are like, "Do you use Facebook?" And then they're like, "I'm not old," and everything.
Yeah.
That's what they. I think the psychology of people and like.
The thing is, and I think we were talking about this earlier, is Twitter is short and sweet, you know, Snapchat, you know, quick pictures, you know,
yeah.
send.
I love Snapchat,
And
too.
Instagram, you know, you can quickly post, quickly
Yeah.
like a picture.
Yeah.
This one, you know, you're obligated to read a full post, you
Yeah.
know, someone's had a bad day.
And people
Who cares, you know, don't
update-
post it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't, sometimes people, you know, post sitting on the toilet, you know, I get
Yeah.
those
Oh, yeah.
on my
People
feed,
post
or, you know.
everything.
Also, I think it's a security thing, like going to Giant and I'm buying all this stuff
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Someone could break it in your
Like
house, you
feeling
know?
loved, feeling happy, and how you
Yeah,
can
like
Yeah,
the
oh, the
emotions.
emotions.
So annoying.
Yeah, it's
a little
annoying.
strange. All right, and our next final poll question here is: what is your favorite part of the Herndon Festival? It's coming up. We're in 2 weeks, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on. Right
I
after
like
this.
the rides.
Yeah.
You like the rides?
Yeah.
I get a little sick on the rides, but I think
I like
the
everything
music
about
is
it.
great. I think it's
Yeah,
really
and I think
improved over
everything.
the
With fireworks the last day.
Yeah.
Yes,
Music, it's
I
fun.
like everything about Herndon.
The vendors, they're
I love
exciting. The
everything.
food.
Yeah.
Someone said, and somebody actually commented on this poll, and they said they didn't want to. They disagreed with this and said the food was the best. But I thought that could be considered under the
Vendors,
vendors.
yeah.
The people also, you know, you
Yeah.
meet new people, you hang out with your friends, you know.
Since we do our Herndon live thing.
Herndon
so
Live,
we
right?
get
We're
to
going to be
meet
talking about that in a
interesting
second.
people.
Yeah. All right, and let's take the look at the results of this Herndon Festival poll right here. All right, what is your favorite part of the Herndon Festival? Let's take a look.
Right.
46% of
Right.
people said
9%
rides.
music.
9% music, so that's interesting. So maybe, you know, they need to be doing something perhaps to appeal to the younger demographic, you know? Maybe there's something that,
The songs, I guess. Like,
Maybe people.
they
like,
don't really
people-
sing like new songs. I don't know, like.
yeah, it's kind of like 80s. Other parents are like,
Yeah.
And I don't understand the music. Of it.
well, if you want to know, people, Rita does not understand the music.
No, of
but
the 80s.
And there was 24% of the vendors, which I
Vendors.
assume is a lot going on. Oh, we're bringing it back. Okay, yeah. Well, let's just look at it one more time here. Okay, so 24% and 21% vendors, 24% people.
That's it,
So that's pretty interesting. I guess Socializing, I guess.
Yeah.
You knew that? You knew the people?
I mean, I said let's put people on.
And obviously it was a fan favorite coming in second, but
Fan
still
favorite.
almost
People.
very close to double for the rides. Well, that is our latest Herndon Twitter polls, and I would say that we were having a new poll coming out in 2 weeks, but I don't know because we're having a special event. Let's keep it moving along here, and we actually have a special show that's coming up in 2 weeks. If we go to the next slide, I think maybe hopefully. There we go. One more click away, and next time Herndon Live will be at the Herndon Festival, and it should be a lot of great fun and exciting. We want to make sure that you're aware that if you see us,
Yes.
we want you to come and stop by because you have the chance to be on the show.
Get
We'll interview,
interviewed.
ask the questions about how everything is going, and it should be a lot of fun. 36th Annual Herndon Festival. The rides will be there as always, the vendors, the music, and the people. There's some great bands lined up. We were looking at that earlier. And we want to make sure you're aware of how you can get to the Herndon Festival. We want to remind you that you have to take the bus from either Herndon High School or World Gate to get into downtown because basically all parking will be shut down in downtown, but that the shuttle service will be free and the parking lots at Herndon and World Gate are free as well. There's also bike valet if you want to ching ching ring ring,
Large
ride
and
your bike
medium
down.
riding the bike.
Right, and the whole entire festival basically is free except if you want to go on the ride. So the ride has basically a ticket system, and I believe
Don't they have
Thursday
Yeah.
and maybe Saturday morning to early afternoon, they have the wristband service.
How much is the?
I don't know how much the wristband is, but if if you're looking to go on all the rides, then definitely.
Yeah, that's
Some,
right.
I'm gonna give you some tips. Here's some Herndon Live tips I'm gonna give you about the Herndon Festival. If you want to get on the rides and short line, you go Thursday. Even though it's a weekday, if you just want to get in all the rides, you go Thursday or Sunday. Those
Yeah, I'm
are
going on
the
Sunday,
best.
maybe.
Friday is good if you want to go, maybe with your friends,
Yeah.
But probably the worst is Saturday because everybody has off from work
And everyone's
school. They want
there.
to spend all day at the festival,
Yeah.
Look at the vendors, spend time at different areas as well. And of course, you can stay tuned to HCTV throughout that entire weekend because we'll be covering, we'll be doing interviews, live events, and we'll also be providing you with the music at both the Depot stage, which is right outside our studios here at the Town Hall, and also the HMC stage as well. So that should be a lot of fun and great excitement. And remember, if we see us, I think we'll be wearing our blue HCTV shirts.
Yeah.
And we'll have you can ask for
Oh,
an
yeah,
autograph
we
if
are
you're so inclined. And you can also, we'll have maybe your, I don't know, HCD.org, but I don't know exactly where we are, so we have to plan that. And
Yeah.
there may be a poll or something, so stay tuned for that as well. All right, well, we want to thank you all for joining us here on this Friday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jack Norcross,
I'm Rita Preddy.
And I'm Lodja Preddy.
and we hope to see you right back here in 2 weeks for a special edition of Herndon live from the Herndon Festival. And we hope that you have a great weekend. Happy prom. Stay warm, stay dry, and it is 76 outside.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
night. Have a
Tomorrow's
great
really
weekend.
cold too.